So today I'm back out here at the pond, as you can see behind me, and I wanted to tell you guys a story. So what I have in my hand here is Pop's Zebco 33 that he bought when he was 16 years old, and it still works to this day. The the rod that came with it, he bought a reel and rod when he saved up his money, and he went to the general store there in Hazelhurst, and he bought this, and he fished with it. And other than having to replace the rod after a while, um, the reel has withstood time. I remember as a kid this being one of the first reels that I fished with. So today is kind of in remembrance of Pop, and we're going to be fishing with his Zebco 33, and we're going to see if we can pull out, some. I got some worms. Um, I've got some, I've got long enough leader on my cord, and I'm just going to throw out and see what we can find. So bear with me, and let's see what we can get out of this old pond. All right. Show you something else. Something I learned from my good buddy Peel and Drag. Hopefully you guys can see this. So that's my hook, that's my worm. I kept having issues with the fish stealing my worm. And in this case, the ground stole my worm. Get back up here. There we go. So I was discussing it with Peeling and Nehemiah, and he said, run that worm up that shank. He said, just run it right on up that shank right there. He said, all the way. He said, once you get down close to the tail, he said, just poke through, and it'll make it harder for them to be able to to take that worm off the hook. And ever since I did that, little bait stealers have failed to take the worm off the hook, at least ways not as quick as they once did. So, go ahead and throw this on out here. Ooh. All right. Sit that right there while we wait for a bite. Hopefully we get this bite soon. So I remember whenever I was a kid, we would take and go to a pond like this, and of course we didn't have no fancy wad holders like I got down there now. We had little Y sticks, poke them in the ground, and you had this Y, put your rod crossways like this into the Y, let your float just kind of float out there. And we didn't really have any styrofoam floats like I got on it right now, and we sure didn't have weighted floats like I got on it. What we had was um, cork, cork floats and BBs. Little split shot BBs. That's what we use for our for our corks. And and so, of course, you always you had your number one um, your number one J hook and all. And you put your bait on it, and you toss it out like this, and you wait for a fish to come along and smell the bait and go, yeah, I like that smell. Let's go for it. And but as a kid, it was we didn't have patience. That was one thing that we didn't have. We didn't have a lot of patience. My brother and I, we couldn't, we couldn't sit still. We had to always be up and running, and Pop would be getting on to us and telling us to be quiet and gonna run off the fish and all this. And basically, what it was, he wanted us to be quiet so that he can get some peace of mind while he fished. Learned that the hard way whenever I had my son. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool. We had we went to my grandpa's ponds, my great grandpa that is, Papa, J. Lee Lawn. That was my papa, J. Lee. He had 5 ponds on his land. He had a little over 100 acres of land, and he's a farmer. And he had 2 big ponds and then 3 small ponds. Funny thing about the small ponds was when he had them dug, they were supposed to be have individual fish in them, meaning that one pond was supposed to be for channel cats, one pond was supposed to be for bluegills, and the other pond was supposed to be for bass, of course. And of course the big pond, what we call the big pond, which is out behind the house, was what watered the cows. That was the cow pond. And then he, on the back side of that, which we call the new pond, it was mainly for, you could fish out of it, but it was mainly for duck hunting. He just flooded the, flooded the woods and used it for duck hunting. So, so it was, so you had your pick. Now the funny thing about the 3 ponds, which was across the road from him, in the fields across the road, was that after about 2 or 3 years, they wasn't individual ponds anymore. They got cross-contaminated because the birds coming in and grabbing up the fish and then dropping them over into, into the other ponds. And so they wound up being 3 small ponds that had everything in it. I remember my grandpa cackling about that. And he, he didn't think that would happen, but unfortunately it did. The Pop, he would take us out, and of course we would do just what we're doing right here. We'd watch a cork, wait for it to go down, and once it went down, then we was up and going for it, or he was. But my brother and I, we was doing other things. Yeah, just more than one rod like to have went out in the middle of the pond on more than one occasion. Yeah, some of you guys, you probably recognize this hat I got on. It was Pop's old hat. He got it whenever we started fishing together again. And Bass Pro, one of the first purchases he made at Bass Pro Shop was this old hat right here, and he wore it everywhere. He loved that hat, and it's got a permanent stain. I don't know if you can see it. It's got a permanent stain right there where he sweated, top of his head, sweated and stained the coloration of this khaki material here. And I know it's a stain because I have tried to get it out on more than one occasion. But I found that I can wear it, especially since, as you just saw just then, I cut my hair and doing the bald thing, and so the hat actually fits like a glove now. So I decided I was going to start wearing it and see if I could see if it would bring me any luck on fishing. Right now it ain't doing nothing for me. Oh, matter of fact, I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring that old cork in. Then we're gonna shorten it up a little bit. I think I'm just a little too deep. Let's see. Shorten it up a little bit. Good Lord. I don't know what that was, but I like the sound of it. Probably old turtle. Oh no. Not the same trees I got hungry in last time. Come on. Are you kidding me? Well, looks like I'm decorating for Christmas early. I have no luck. Good thing I brought my tackle box. Okay. You can do this without hanging it up in the damn tree again. All right. It's hit there for a minute. Thought I knew how to bite. Oh, so yeah. That was another thing Pop taught me. And always make sure you have enough tackle, because if you're not losing tackle, you're not fishing. Or at least you're not doing it right. Hate that that was a brand new that was a brand new course. I hate that I lost that one. I still can't get over there to it, and I ain't about trying to climb that tree. Oh Lord. And all this movement out here, and you ain't got a single bite off of them. So the folks that allow me to fish this pond, good folks, been knowing her daddy for quite a few years, and he's been knowing me longer than I knew him. But because I was a baby when we come to Washington County, and Mr. Richard, he that's how he knew me, was was from then, and then of course later on, as an adult, he got to know me from whenever I was managing the local hardware store there in Sandersville. And so, anyways, Melanie, Richard's daughter, and Craig, her husband, they own this pond, and so when I had my stroke a few years back, Melanie knew I was an avid fisherman, and she knew that was my way of talking with God and conversing with Him, and when I wasn't talking to you guys. And so she knew it would be good therapy for me, so she reached out to me and offered her pond for my hydrotherapy, as I like to call it. And so I've been out here quite a few times. I've done some bass fishing, caught quite a few bass out here, and of course bluegill from the other day. And so unfortunately my camera decided it didn't like me no more, and so it quit filming whenever the action got hot. I was right over there. As you can see right across there, I guess you can see it across there. It looks like an old pontoon. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's an old pontoon that they made into a dock, a floating dock. And that's where I was at the other day whenever I was down here before. And it was it actually serves its purpose fairly well. We're going to be going down there pretty shortly here if I don't get no bites where we're at right now. Oh yeah, and me, hitting the tree limbs like that. Yeah, there was plenty of that whenever I was a kid too. Oh no. There we go. Let's go ahead and move on down that dock. I know there's some fishes down there, so we're gonna move down to the dock. So y'all just bear with me.